Hello, Original Soul. I hope you are doing super well and welcome in. Thanks for showing up. And if you're returning, thanks for coming back. I got a nice snowy snow globe looking morning out here, so super cozy. Perfect vibe for a reading. So let's jump into the oracle cards. We'll add tarot to each of them and see what energy is at play. First out, Saturn. Let's see, number 6, truth. So Saturn is often known as the planet that brings lessons. So this could also be like teacher vibe, father energy, some sort of prominent male energy, grandfather, even sort of partner or husband. But could be some lessons that you've learned, and based on the other cards, these could be around love, compassion, relationships, your heart. So we'll add some tarot to it here. Maybe you've been doing some reflection recently, or that might be a good thing to do. Let's see here what comes out with Saturn. Got a couple here. Princess of Swords, the Emperor, Ace of Wands, and the Chariot. So Emperor is father energy, like I was just talking about. Let me hold these other two up here as well. Ace of Wands, Chariot. This could be around family, either with children or your parents, or just some sort of dynamic of maybe younger and older. Maybe there's been some either argumentative or just combative sort of communication. Right, how this Princess of Swords looked like she's ready to strike and to fight. So there may have been a need either for yourself or someone else to defend themselves, or again, just having sort of this combative nature to communication. Again, with the Emperor, right? The Emperor is in charge. For some of you, this could even be with your work, but it feels more like interpersonal relationships. I don't know what he's holding in his hand. At first it looked like kind of a cartoon bomb to me. I know that's not really what it is. So maybe there is some sort of truth bomb, because we have Saturn out here with truth. All right, so definitely honesty either is at play or needs to be at play. And then with Ace of Wands and Chariot, this is being inspired to be more honest and truthful. This is finding more success when you are able to bring in honesty. There could even be some spiritual downloads, or like I said, just inspiration that comes in and that strikes. And this has you moving forward in a more authentic way, following your heart a little bit more. But there is a level of being guarded. Look how the Chariot is in full on gold armor. All right, so with lessons, again, this could be with how you're communicating with your family, how you're moving forward. There potentially has been some amount of deceit. And we've got the Empress here at the bottom of the deck. So this could even be with a partnership or a marriage. Right, but feeling more inspired to be more truthful, to be more honest. And again, noticing how you've been acting in a way to really protect or shield yourself. Getting more in touch with your feelings with the little crab there up at the top of his head. So got strong Aries energy, Cancer energy, and also Taurus and Libra. So finding a little bit more grounding and balance. Okay, let's see here. On your mind, number 16, compassion is your freedom. Right? She's dressed in all white. Maybe it's a wedding dress. So like I said, for some of you, this could be a marriage. I'm recording this coming up close to New Year's. I don't know, maybe that's a popular time. I feel like other than Valentine's Day, maybe for either budding romance or more love or even proposals and things like that. Right? So you could even be finding out for some of you, right, that there's maybe someone coming towards you who's feeling inspired to move with their heart and offer up more love or some sort of a proposal. Maybe this even surprises you a little bit. All right, but let's get some cards out here with compassion is your freedom. And this talked a lot about judgment and how you may judge others. And a lot of times when we are doing that, and I say we because we all do it, we've all done it, but taking a step back and looking at that thing you're judging someone else for, you know, how is that something actually inside of yourself that you don't appreciate or that bothers you? And it could have to do with some of these lessons that possibly you've learned from the past or how you've been treated in previous relationships or just by other people in your environment and atmosphere, right? And that can have us building up some sort of protective shell, especially around the heart space. And then how we start to judge others. We start to throw that anger, resentment, or fear outward, but really, as this book mentioned, that's just throwing that dagger back and stabbing you in the back. You're doing that to yourself. If you think of everything as a reflection or everyone as a reflection. Yeah, so with compassion is your freedom, we got the adjustment card and Queen of Cups. Adjustment is the Justice card. And look at the scales, how that's finding more balance. And I love that the word is adjustment on here because we were just talking about if you're judging someone else, that's really a feeling that really you have against yourself, even if you don't realize it. But if you start to maybe think of it in that way, that could help you out and adjust the way you're thinking, the way you're acting. Now I mentioned Libra energy. This is Libra energy with the balance. Maybe seeing both sides of a situation and adjusting with the Queen of Cups, the way you're nurturing your heart space, the way you're treating other people, the way you're treating yourself. So definitely getting more into feelings, as I already mentioned with that little crab earlier. Right, not being so maybe overly protective and starting to let things flow a little bit more. So yeah, a big shift might be needed in your mindset, or maybe this is something, again, that has recently kind of come in as a thought or a realization, right? And you're starting to move more towards compassion. All right, let's see here. And then at the base of the reading, rose quartz is the crystal card. I don't know if you can see, I've got a big piece right here. And I had a little piece on top of this Thoth deck that I'm using here for tarot. So rose quartz is basically love in rock form. So we have a lot of compassion and love energy here. And take care of your heart is the tagline on that card. So like we've already been talking about, yeah, and with the Hierophant at the bottom, this could have to do, like I said, with marriage, committed relationships, or really, really close friendships or family, right? But taking care of your heart doesn't mean blocking everyone out and being a hermit. I've definitely let myself get into that mode personally, where you feel like you have more control. Yeah, with Two of Wands, dominion, right? When you start shutting everyone else out and really being more in just your own space, it can feel like a comfort zone for sure. With the Ace of Swords at the bottom, right? That is definitely true. And it's not that it's a bad thing to take time for yourself or to really reflect, like I was saying, and do those sorts of things. But when does that become when you've built up a lot of this armor? and it's no longer really taking care of your heart space. It's just walling it off from everything else, right? So with the Two of Wands here, this is about, right, what do you want to manifest? What do you want in your life? What type of action would make sense to take? Is it really just staying blocked off and closed off? How we've got this sort of X shape here with these wands, and protecting your heart space in that way? Or are you really shutting out opportunities for love, opportunities for warmth, opportunities for compassion? You could be blocking yourself in an effort to protect yourself. And sometimes it's a really fine line. Yeah, Prince of Swords. Right, so this is about what you think, how you speak. There could be a level of maybe even immaturity there. Maybe something happened to you when you were younger that really has caused you to create a lot of these blockages. Right, so how can you use that sword to maybe cut through some of that and that adjustment, right? How can you use your thoughts in your favor instead of against you? If you notice yourself going down this negative path with your thinking, it's time to flip that into the positive. And this card is reminding me of the Chariot, right? They're both on similar looking, I was going to say vehicles. How would you call that, a vehicle? I guess so. But he looks like he's on a chariot as well. Right, so this is also giving me those vibes of being honest with yourself, because really inside your heart and your soul know the truth. Sometimes it's just our mind that is in a totally different sort of space. Again, maybe you've been fired up about something or blocking things out. Maybe even placing blame completely outside of yourself. And it's time to bring in more truth and more balance and more grounding so your heart can grow and expand. All right, and then out of the Egyptian deck, Love and Romance, number 22, master number. So being the architect of your life, the builder of your life. Like I said, we have a lot of heart and love energy here. So maybe you find yourself opening up to someone during this season right now, or even somewhere, maybe it starts around New Year's, or the new year ends up being the time that you shift, right? And the next year is a 1 year, right? 2026, 2026 adds up to 10, which breaks down to 1. That's what we do in numerology. So 2025 has, for a lot of folks, been a really rough year. For some, maybe exciting, but a 9-year is putting an end to certain things. So there could be a lot of endings in your life, and that can be a positive thing, but it can be painful to go through, which is that Saturn energy, right? Learning from disappointment, learning from pain, growing from that challenge, right? But moving into 2026, maybe you end up finding more love and romance. Maybe you're able to make that adjustment with your mindset, which starts to help your heart space grow and expand, which is what it wants to do. So let's see what we get here. Maybe that feels a little awkward or a little messy for you. Like I said, if you have been the type that has blocked a lot out, right, to be in your comfort zone, to have sort of dominion over your heart space and your energy, which can be a comfort zone, can be a safe space. Nothing wrong with having a safe space, but it could feel really awkward or messy to open up. It might not feel natural to you at first. Yeah, but look at this, 9 of Cups, happiness with the Love and Romance card. So look at all that water energy, which is your feelings and your love flowing, filling up all of those cups. This is wish fulfillment energy. which at the bottom of the deck, we've got this Nine of Swords, which feels like maybe that's what you're coming out of. Like I was just talking about this being a 9 year and then moving into a 1 year. So we've got those 2 9s. So you may be seeing 22s, 222s, 99, 999, or maybe any repeating numbers. But I love that. All right, so letting yourself open up a little bit more, because this is what's coming in. Love, romance, and happiness. So giving yourself that opportunity and giving yourself grace, breaking out of that cruelty, that lesson energy. Like I had talked about too, right? Judging others or even keeping yourself blocked up. That's really stabbing your own self in the back, in the heart. We don't want to do that. No. All right, so this feels really good moving forward. Like I said, it might be a really big feeling adjustment for you. All right, let's get an angel tarot. We'll add a spirit animal, and then Archangel Michael popped out with 3 messages today. So we'll see what those are before we close it out. I hope this is some energy that you're finding. More happiness, more love, and a little bit of romance. Definitely more compassion and taking care of your heart. Because you've definitely been through it with that Saturn card showing up. It's time to let things be a little bit easier. Let things flow. Not everything has to be a challenge and difficult. And notice how your mindset can contribute to that sort of energy. All right, let's see here. 7 of Pentacles, Nemamiah, number 57. The lovely God. We got that word love popping out a few times. Discernment, general prosperity, the deliverance of prisoners. All right, that's super interesting. So again, maybe there's more inspiration towards compassion and love, a total switch in your energy. 7 of Pentacles is how you've been investing your time, your money, your health, your energy. So like I mentioned, taking some time to reflect and take a look at that. And start to invest in more loving ways and more compassionate ways. So number 57, Nemamiah. And right, this angel, she's kind of reminding me of the Hermit card a little bit. She's holding this lantern, right, which is about healing energy, which is about the wisdom you've gained from the situations you've been through, but then coming out of that hermit mode like I was talking about before. Oh wait, I am reshuffling the tarot deck here. Let's get the spirit animal. Right, you've put a lot of hard work in though. We've got the Devil card, the Capricorn card there at the bottom of the deck. So getting out of those toxic patterns, moving more towards that lover's energy. All right, let's see what spirit animal wants to pop out here. Almost had sheep want to come out. And actually, this love and romance card is associated with sheep. Under the hind part of the sheep is what it says on this card. All right, so sheep may be significant for you. Rabbit, cleverness. If you have been going through difficult times, it is time to think outside the box to find the solution. This is also a reminder to avoid neglecting your creative side. If you have let creative projects lapse, it may be time to pick them back up again. All right, so there's Rabbit reminding you as well if there's been these difficult times. Right, getting creative, which is in your sacral second chakra. So the color orange may be helpful. Eating orange foods, using orange stones. What else? Fresh citrusy scents. Those sorts of things can really help balance or enhance that chakra. And that's where your creativity and your love and sexual energy lies as well. So again, with the blockages that I've been talking about, possibly that you may be experiencing or have experienced, right? That can help set some of those free. So doing something creative, even if you don't feel like you're a creative person, right? You decide what to wear every day, you decide what to eat, maybe you draw, do music, or just kind of put on some music and dance, right? And just let your body move the way it wants to move, right? Even if it's a little awkward or messy, just to loosen that up. All right, so let's see here what we've got from Archangel Michael. All right, detach from the situation. So that's where that headspace or obsessing over something may get you just sort of glommed on and focusing, especially on if it was a negative situation or something, again, that's been really challenging, like Rabbit mentioned. Explore your options. So remembering there's probably, right, not just one or two ways to solve a problem. There's probably about 1,000 other ways in between. But again, that can be really challenging for our mind to figure that out when we're kind of set on one way. So that's where maybe doing some of those second chakra things to boost your creativity or just loosen up a little bit could help. And maybe compassion needs to be part of that answer, that solution. And then we've got shield yourself as well. So I know I talked a lot about that, feels like something that you've already really been doing quite a bit. Using your discernment, of course, as Nemamiah said, right? Using those lessons from the past. You don't have to just blindly open yourself up to other people. All right, so using your discernment and your knowledge, right, for when it's appropriate to have that shield up or when maybe you've realized that's all you've been doing. And allow yourself to detach from those past situations, and maybe you get to explore something new. Like I said, we've got love and happiness that wants to come in here for you. So this is the energy that's available and wanting to show up. All right, so if you'd like to find affirmations, let's go ahead and set one now. Let's see here. Why don't we just take a little nod here from Rose Quartz. I take care of my heart. What do you think about that one? You take care of your heart. So what can you do this week to take good care of your heart? Maybe that means needing to open up a little bit. Maybe it means needing to detach from past hurtful situations and bring in more compassion for yourself, because compassion is your freedom, as that card said. And really allow more love to come in, whether that includes romance or not, right? But just more love. And that's something that can start with you, right? You can bring that in for yourself and start to bring in gratitude and love and appreciation for things around you, the world around you, maybe loved ones around you, to really open up more to happiness and let your feelings and your heart space start to grow and flow. All right, so we take care of our hearts. All right, that's what we've got here for this reading. I hope there was something here for you. And until next time, peace.